Hi, Steve.
Hi, Keith.
Can I get you first of all just on Matt, how he is after the weekend, Matt Ritchie?
We'll probably have an operation today. I know he's seen the surgeon today, or certainly in the next 24, 48 hours. A very sort of similar injury to Fab Shaw, a disruption of the joint. So, how unfortunate are we? To have one is bad enough, but to have two in a matter of weeks is incredible. So, yeah, it looks as if he need an operation, and will be performed very shortly.
I mean, Fabian Schär was out. What was that? Has that been a couple of months, 2, 3 months? Is it?
I think it was 9 weeks. I think it was 9 weeks yesterday, I believe. So Fabian is ahead of schedule and he's doing well. But obviously we've just got to be a bit careful. The kid wants to join in and play, but we're obviously governed by doctors on that, and we'll see how he is. But yeah, we're looking at a lengthy layoff.
Especially difficult, I guess, with Matt, given what he brings to the group, not just on the pitch but off of it as well.
Well, we know how valuable he is around the training ground and what he is. You're right. He's got that little bit of leadership about him, and with any good player, it's a miss, and that's the one thing where it is a concern. Last year we were badly hindered with injury, and there's another one. Where you're unfortunate to have one shoulder, never alone two, but two players. That along with Dummett and the long-term injury of Matty Longstaff and the long-term injury of Kieran Clark, it's a bit of a concern that they'll have these injuries, which obviously you can't prevent. It's a physical game, but we've had a fair share of bad luck with it, that's for sure.
Just looking at that side of the pitch now, Steve, obviously with Ritchie out, obviously Dummett's been out for a while now as well, and obviously Lewis had the eye injury, but it looks okay. Does that change what you need to do before Monday?
No, I don't think. I think, look, you have to have people who are going to come and improve you straight away. I think that's what we're looking for. So, we've got people in the squad now who we'll look at in the next week or so until the transfer window closes. And this time around, also with the transfer window, it's not a great deal of time before it opens again. So just because we've picked up an injury, it's part and parcel of it. I'm pleased with what we've got down the left-hand side. Obviously, we need Dummett fit. He's close to that, and let's hope he can get himself good in the next week or so.
Ryan Fraser, he obviously missed out at the weekend. How's he?
He trained well yesterday. I think it was the right call. It was the right call for him. We'll see how he trains today, but he's in contention for tomorrow night, yeah.
Can I just get you, Steve? There seems to be a lot of people that seem to be questioning the style of the football, or perhaps the way that you hardly had the ball at the weekend against Tottenham, but obviously still managed to get the point. I think we can see what you're trying to do. You've gone from the 5 at the back before you joined, you've moved it to a 4, you've gone 2 up front at times. But are you able to sort of reassure the supporters who are questioning that it is something that you're working on to try and make the club a bit more?
I think with Newcastle, the one thing I've learned is you get questioned if you don't perform well enough or you get beat. Everything's a question. And the simple facts are, Keith, there was nothing wrong with us at Morecambe. I know it's Morecambe, but the way we played and the style of play, there's not even considered, not even talked about. But you don't play well enough, and by the performance, and I assure you, I understand totally that we didn't play well enough on Saturday or the week before. But I don't think it's got anything to do with style of play. Style of play against West Ham, nobody questioned about us. You're right, I do want to try and change. I've been really patient to try and change from 5 at the back, which we were known for. So the way forward is eventually we'll get to a back 4. However, I think you have to be a little bit flexible. We see West Ham change successfully at the weekend and beat Wolves, matched them up. We see Arsenal play the way we did last night against Liverpool. So I think you need that flexibility, but I agree where performance levels have to improve. So we've got another game tomorrow, and then we've got Burnley on Saturday. So we've got a chance to get into the quarter-final of the Cup. And if we can get a result against Burnley, then with 7 points from the first 4 games would have been a healthy return. So yes, I think we have to improve on the way we play. There's no question about that. But I think with any result, or when the performance is not quite right, then you get questioned. That's the nature of the job of being the Newcastle manager.
You said, yeah. Sorry, Steve. You said last week that you want to try and get a couple out. Obviously before the deadline. Are you any closer to that?
No, I've not. I've not been. I haven't spoken to Lee, the CEO, this morning. But no, there's nothing changed on that front.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you, Liz.
Hi, Steve. Morning. Hi. First of all, I gather that Newport are still waiting on their results of the COVID tests. Presumably, if it doesn't come back with good news, the game won't happen?
Well, we've seen Leighton Orient last week, and that's what didn't happen. Yet we've seen, was it 3 Stevenage players at the weekend? And that game went ahead. I think it's in the hands of other people, Dawn, unfortunately. We're preparing that the game is on. As far as we're concerned, the game is on. So, we'll let other people make that decision. And let's hope it's all okay so we can get on with it.
We were talking last week, and you were talking about how home advantage has gone this season without any fans being, in the grounds, which obviously affects you at St James's Park, but will probably also affect Newport because Rodney Parade is a hideous place to go and play. So not having a crowd there is probably in your favour. Yeah,
maybe so. It's the overall thing over the last few years. They've been the team in the lower divisions who've produced the shock, haven't they? Whether it's in the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup, they're a good side. I've watched them. The performance at the weekend and the one before when they beat Watford. They're a good side who play the right way, play 3 at the back, and try and play through you. And you have to say that the guy in charge has done a wonderful job there in difficult circumstances. So make no mistake, if we don't approach it right, of course, every cup tie you need a bit of luck, but we've got to go and approach it right because it is a difficult place to go with or without fans because of what they've got on the pitch, basically.
I love this stat that Newcastle's biggest ever win was against Newport, 13-0 back in 1946. Even before our time.
2 or 3 out of 13 would be enough, Dawn, I would think. So, a great start. Thank you for telling me.
And just a word about Mark Gillespie, who's played in goal recently in the Cup. How's he getting on in your view?
Well, very, very quiet. He's got on with it and kept 2 clean sheets. It was a big night for him against Blackburn, where the club he played for as a boy released him, and he went away to learn his trade and came back and an opportunity has arose very, very quickly for him. And we've seen, he's kept back-to-back clean sheets, done nothing wrong. So hope that continues for him. I'm delighted for him because out of the 5 signings we signed, he's the one that's sort of slipped under the radar for obvious reasons, but he's performed very well. Let's hope that continues.
Just finally from me, Premier League clubs are voting today on how to end the season should it come to that with COVID. How important is it that they do that so everybody knows what's going to happen ahead of it? And also what you've talked about a lot in recent weeks is talking about how the Premier League can help lower league clubs.
I think if we all know the solution, if it did happen, then I think we all accept it. It's fine, then we know the rules. As for the smaller clubs, I've been saying it now for weeks and months, and it just doesn't quite make sense to me that we can all go to a restaurant or a bar where we can't house supporters at a small venue where we know they can manage it. Surely sitting outside, socially distancing, is far easier to manage than going to a pub or a restaurant where we can all mingle with each other. So something has to be done because I do fear it. I've said it now for weeks, whether the Premier League, who, let's be fair now, are hemorrhaging money too. It's not easy for the Premier League clubs either. But if we can help, then I'm sure we will do because the great spectacle of our country is these little clubs and these towns and all across the country. It's the lifeblood of many communities. So let's hope we can find something to help. But it is ridiculously difficult times for not just football, but for every single individual out there, whether you're working wherever you are, whatever you are, we're doing. It's difficult times for everybody.
Thanks, Don. Simon O'Rourke.
Hi, Steve. Just to pick up on that point, I mean, I think morally everyone would say that, you know, they would like to see the Premier League helping out, but are people being a bit naive in thinking that's actually what's going to happen?
Well, if you look in business, I mean, are the real big business people who make billions, are they helping out the small ones? I don't think they are they? I mean, it's, you know, it's a horrible world we live in, unfortunately, in business. So let's hope we can find some sort of solution. But, you know, as I said, you know, our budget has been disrupted this summer because of what's just happened. And I'm sure there's many businesses up and down the country and people who are fighting for their lives to make sure that the business survives. And if we can come to some sort of help for the smaller clubs, then great, because it's very, very difficult. I know for a fact, very difficult. You know, I was speaking to the Morecambe manager the other day, how difficult it is for these small clubs. And for me, I'm sure we've seen it last weekend where there's 1,000, 1,500 people in a stadium. Surely that's easier to manage than going into a pub or a bar surely it doesn't make sense to me. And I think that's the confusion that we all have. Some of it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, I agree with you. One last point about the match. A team from League Two is never really going to go into a game against a Premier League team confident. But Newport County have actually got a bit of form for this over the last couple of seasons. They knocked Middlesbrough out of the FA Cup. They gave Spurs a good game a couple of years ago. Does that make them more dangerous because they know it can happen?
They're really dangerous opponents, you know, and difficult place to go and play. That's for sure. They've done extremely well. You're right. They've been the one club over the last few years where they have produced a few shocks. So, look, we've got a wonderful opportunity. We'll have to approach it right. Everybody needs a bit of luck in the cup, that's for sure. So we go and do it right. But we know we're up against a very, very decent team who are flying high in the league at the minute, playing very, very well. And I've been very impressed of what I've seen of them, and I've seen them a couple of times now this season. And they're a good side.
Okay, thank you, broadcasters. Written titles will be with you in just a moment. If you can use the raise hand function if you do have a question. Thank you.